With us without the clear of as ever we try is always the same around. Let's at the possible this to be a sensed moment to communicating. Last night I just have done this video, which still like always I'm trying to do now, forcing to putting some terms at my mouth, evidently. Toes. Are you sure? Is this situation that happens in Paris that came on happening in so much other places? There is not only Paris, and Buenos Aires is epicenter of coverage of this class of disgraces. I'm going to tell you one thing. We came on fighting, and I came not saying no much except for some smooth view, and further this, trying to putting in order some class of really interesting side because of we were suffering so much. There is this events that were happening right there in Paris, and niettement like in sodomé et dat sorry for this. That were class of a very slogan on the gens plates mesure. And suddenly this reality, which were not nice, Paris came on suffering too much, the same of France. France is not Argentina, and Argentina is nothing like paradise and the kingdom of heaven. And except for my person and who as nation of mine. A clear fact for this, I came on denouncing what came on happening, what as friends with a coalition fighting against national attack de Snugse. Which is not the right term, and who in Paris understands what I say. We're not exactly terrorism fighting. We were hearing so often from one side and another to the world that certain specials and armies were fighting against the terrorism. And coming to Middle East, Libya, Lebanon, were making disasters, but terrorism fights because of our part of them. Sodomé-gomorrou, government of the world, 666. I am the one that commands. The master Luciano Troviano told them how to, you got to grow pack of degenerado. So suddenly, the situation is not everyone. And Mr. President Barack Obama, Mr. President Merchant, and which states and justice bodies are not focused. No. Suddenly in the middle of this reality, I saw today certain images at the TV, and the TV were revelating certain naturally which and who says the truth and exhibits the truth, others pushed for the reason of just saying what it is commanded to say, and others at the flaws of the risk while trying to discover and saying some truth, and how to not get dead at the try for this truth to be known. So suddenly in the middle of this reality, where this class of a news, like naturally we were seeing all around, we were watching at the hearing, at the trying to understand, and only conditioned for the reality of what this we command were exactly the point for. At the truth of these realities, we found so iverossimility or iverossimility for no reason and non-plausible, even so uncoercible for reality and so unplausible point for any class. But the view of all terrorists, and there is a scene and there were happening at 10 things, and okay. Madonna and Bono, with other artists, were there in Paris, making something which we call with justice bodies. Madonna is not a demon, Madonna had a life which she herself carried, and at the reason of her own life, she's gonna work with, like any of us. And she's gonna be right fine, like any of us, at the side of fighting for making the best and the right. Badlis in Chavish show business, that I were about in that, sorry. Show business, Badlis mi, Baats, Bean Suchmu, Leshvetiki Matzmachim. There is not in Blefach Miswadlis as Vatzimetli, show business. Show business happens a lot of things. Show business is cultures doesn't demand the wrong ways are for making the other class of wrong ways are not exactly the intentional or conscience for. And what is evil bombs at the side of whatever all involved, if or not victims, got to be mercy, is not the point. I'm gonna say one thing. People fights as best can and survives as best can. There is a reality which doesn't imply us got to be, and there is it is which soever times one and another are not really appreciated at the root that they must conceive the reality and truth as can we understand. France were a very core for Europe for making disasters and organizing Ejército Argentino, UNASUR, Kirchner's, and making the focus for you move and I push and I launch transcontinentals and I destroy the world. But the class that we saw today at the TV, which are not all, but the most of the specials that you saw walking around roofs and going all around the places with the soap and the merchlecham are maricas de Sodoma the most. And we're making disasters and making a lot of French population suffering and Jewish and raping and murdering to blame the superstars. And also in Lebanon, and also in Libya, and also in the supposed fight against the terrorism. And the government of France has a very 20% still with this involved in this ship, la mer de la mer, Argentina, to the making the masonry side on the business and watching who has the biggest boner for being the biggest marica reventada sodomita in the world, saying supreme of the world. So suddenly in the middle of this, and I'm sorry France for what I'm saying, we came on fighting this so long and France is suffering really a lot. And not only France. At the truth of this, there happened the klech masichish vasinim. Tuz totish banti botti kimberch mota posta dartikap enodato is not exactly. But let's define the real. Party of the generate. You are not saint. Totish. Tos. You want start to harassing and watching for the side of Darti Israel? No. Israel? No, Darti. No. But listen, Ramaplech Machavit Levisas Vacheligisasim. There are threat people, and I don't play the hero, and I don't need you to consider, oh, and no, I don't need nothing on that, and I'm going to tell you one thing. At the clear fact of the certain points of this, I know what is to suffer, and I know what is the word. One thing is being besmirched and delivered into the flexion, the weight of destruction is way too much, especially erected by the sickness witches, that you will not conceive and you will react against making words. Like I said, I'm making my fight and placed in respect, and let's making what we should do. Allah ain't no God with the respect of the victims and innocents and the people that understands what it is. And Israel is not a lunch of degenerados, and neither genociders, and neither that playing the superior is my side and I'm gonna have my right for the making what I need this to be done, because of you got to be the enemy. Israel is not making and never done the side of what you resenting. And even though we were sinners for the making the disasters, for they to fight and kill one each other. And you, frightened for the inside you, which doesn't give no shit about your suffer, playing the super patriotic boner because of also are part of Sodoma, Ejército Argentino, ISIS, and your heroes of Allah, with a pardon of evil, which start to calling the generated to my people and to people that fights for the trying to give some best, even if there will be anything like you will match on the improper. Who the hell are you? We are fighting for the trend to putting orders, and you are being sceneries for uses by cristianitas, prostitutitas, manipuladoras de erecciones sodomitas against my people that are laughing all around and making the instigation for my people to be raped and murdered. And you are blessed because of your Allah, the liars that is going to be God and is a demon just like the rest of this. And the real God is telling you, put in yourself condition of conscience, Ishma, and Ishma, don't you dare. I put you out of my Abram, Ban Smotim, Abram, Amav, Amaz, Vesichachai, for the reason of you didn't want to understand the conscience of your mother, were not really respectuous, and you wanted to destroy my seed, and I couldn't avoid that. So putting you apart and telling you, I'm gonna be also with you, but you are gonna deny me. So while you do deny me, you shall come like my enemy, and I don't need enemy of you, but you will insist. So when the reality of this is exactly this, we are fighting for the trend to help and assist and putting out, and I am making my job, but every one of us should, and this doesn't mean you shall be suffered and hang on whatever the disasters. And the reality of Eladon is Eladon. And putting bombs for the destroying people is not the cause. And the threat and the menace and the purge and the murders and genocides are not happening only at the Islam. And the problem is, how long is this Ejército Argentino Nasur? It's going to keep on making the same. Policía Federal Argentina, ISIS. Gendarmería Nacional Argentina, ISIS. Armada Argentina, ISIS. And ISIS had caught, which is not true. And we don't go to persisting to murdering peoples. We had problems in the middle of this war, but you were permanently seeking for places that were not hidden and coming to trying to murder our people when we told you please do not. So suddenly let's put in clear this. Friends, I have been trying, and I still do. But the problem is, if the ones that produces the sickness and the pain proceeds at making the sin naturally because of this, what they are and what they do, and proclaiming for the need of a patriotic act for empathy or empathized at the reality of got to know what it's like to fighting what it is, but raping and murdering my people and saying after that, I'm going to command on whoever to try to take my place, I'm going to can kill. There is nothing like empathizing and empathy for no security about knowing nothing but being a shit just like we know they are. And at the recent